Welcome everyone. So great to see you. So for those who are new, welcome to Tea and Tarot. Every 2 weeks I go to the Oracle cards to get messages about what we can expect for the next couple of weeks in a general sense worldwide. And also to set the intention during this time. If there's a question in your own personal life you want answers on, you can put that out to the universe. Often people find that when I go to the cards and I get specific messages that they find that they really resonate with those messages. So it isn't like a private session with me, but you can do that as well. That's a way to hack the episode if you want some personal answers. But I'm going to the cards in a general way, and I just channel what comes to me as well as what I get from the card. And we do this every 2 weeks. It started off in a trailer last spring, and hopefully we'll end up in a trailer this spring and summer. But over the winter, we are in my living room. So welcome to my living room. Welcome. Thanks for coming. This is also sort of my social time during this crazy COVIDness. Anyway, so let's jump in. I think we're going to start with the Work Your Light Oracle cards this morning. They're kind of calling out to me energetically. It's a beautiful deck of cards by Rebecca Campbell with artwork by Danielle Noel, and I love them. And I don't get paid by any card companies. All these decks I have are just ones that I love, but you can never have too many Oracle decks, right? So welcome. So the card that jumped out at me was actually the one at the bottom of the deck. I didn't even have to open up the deck. This one was the one, and it's called Soul Family. And this card is about connecting to your people, okay? And this might be for some of you, and I've talked to a few people about this over the last couple of weeks, where they feel like their friendships are changing, and they might feel like friendships or relationships have ended over the last year, and there's this gap because they haven't found their new people yet. And I just want you to know that that's happening. Whenever you go through a big energetic shift or transformation or change, your energy shifts, and sometimes all of the people, places, things, times, and events in your life can reshuffle, and there can be kind of this weird gap or vacancy or kind of I guess vacuum sensation in your life until the new people come in. And this card is coming up to say to us, like, hold steady, your people are coming. So your soul tribe. So this is the family you choose, like your friends, those people you meet and you have an instant connection with. You feel like you've known them forever and you just pick up where you've left off. Some of us have had that happen with friendships, or even with our romantic relationships, or even within our family as well. So this is going to be happening more coming forward. You're going to feel like the connections you have with people are on a deeper level, not just the superficial, hey, how's it going level, but like a deep level, like your soul journey and their soul journey is in tandem. You're supporting each other. It might be a relationship where, you help lift each other up at different times, but it's all about soul growth. It's all about evolution, and it's all about you becoming a better version of yourself and more connected to your core and your essence and your soul. So this is really exciting stuff. So for those of you who are feeling the gap or feeling lonely or feeling like you haven't found your tribe yet, it's coming. Okay, so just really trust that. The universe is saying we're bringing you new people. So hopefully the universe is also saying we'll have more of a social spring and summer so we can actually meet people. But in the meantime, you might meet someone online. Maybe you're taking a course or workshop and you really connect to someone and you build a relationship that way. It doesn't have to be an in-person connection, but it is one of those deep, lifelong soul connections that some of us are going to be encountering. So yes, that's exciting. All right, so the next deck calling to me is the Sacred Destiny Oracle. And it's a new deck to me, but I really love it. I'll just show you what the case looks like in case any of you are interested. Now, I do sell some decks. I have an online store. I don't really advertise it too much. It was sort of a last minute thing I built over the holidays, but I do have some card decks. So, and a lot of the ones that I have here, I do have for sale if you have trouble finding them anywhere else, or if you're local and you want to come pick up a deck. Yeah. And also for those who are watching, you can have 20% off card deck. Just remind me before you check out, and I'll give you a discount code for that. All right, so this card is looking good, everyone. It's an card of adventure, but I'm kind of really drawn to that waterfall and the tropical feeling of this card. So I don't know if any of you are itching to travel like I am right now. I'm like, this kind of makes me feel like Costa Rica. So maybe we should all do a group trip to Costa Rica once we're allowed out to play. But it's about adventuring, and it doesn't have to be exotic. It doesn't have to be a remote location. This card is asking us to get adventurous in our lives right now and have maybe local adventures, or just try new things that are different than things that we've tried before. Like, get outside of your container of what makes you feel comfortable. Maybe learn a new hobby or a new skill. Recently, just locally, I started going to an archery place because I've always loved archery, but I've never, spent the time to really get good at it. And so I was so excited to find that there was something relatively local. So even just like doing searches, finding some things, finding some new adventures for you, for your family, with someone else. But I feel like we need this new fresh energy right now as we're in the end of winter. And this card is asking us to think of life as an adventure and get more creative with, what we do every day. So even if you're stuck in your house, like, make an adventure there. If you're stuck at home with your kids, maybe do a scavenger hunt or something. Like, there is a way to find that adventure in your day-to-day. And for some of you, this adventure could even take place in terms of business. Maybe you're jumping into new territory and you're out of your comfort zone because you're trying new things and changing things up, and that's good too. Like, the energy of this adventure is positive, and we're meant to go forward with it and move beyond any fear with it. So for those of you who are kind of on the precipice of something new and you're like, I don't know, should I do it or should I not do it? This card is saying, yes, go for it. If it's an adventure, if it's new, if it's bringing in that new energy, then it's a positive thing and it's going to turn out well. So exciting stuff. Okay, so we're going to go to the Spirit Animal Oracle. This deck is calling out today. I love this deck. It's a beautiful deck by Baron Reed. It's a nice big deck. Some decks are little. This one's massive. A lot of animals in this deck. I really am into the animal spirit energies. I do shamanic journeying. I teach shamanic journeying, and my roots are kind of in that realm. And I have a lot of books that, tell you the meaning behind different animals that you meet and the medicine and the teaching that comes with them. And it's really frustrating when your animal isn't in the book. It's like there's not a book big enough. So I really love that this deck is so huge. It's got so many. I've got two that want to come. Okay, we'll take this. You know what? I'm going to do two cards because these two stuck together. So we need two animals today. All right, so we've got koala spirit here. And I feel like the third eye chakra, you can see that embellishment or emblem on the third eye of the koala. And I feel like that's really key for a lot of us right now, is just sitting, being still, and going in here, going inside for the answers. So yes, we have to use our logical mind when we make choices. I mean, we just do. We have a logical mind for a reason. It likes to research and analyze things and look at the pros and cons and all of that. But with big decisions, that koala card is asking us to also take them into our intuition and into our feeling centers. And for some of us, our intuition, we vision things and just know things. And for others, we feel things deeply. So trusting your intuitive way. But that card is about going within for the answers to the really big things. So yes, use your logical mind, but also don't discount your intuitive mind, because that's an important piece of any decisions that we're making over the next 2 weeks. And then we also have koi fish spirit that came to the surface today. And this is about, I'm feeling the message from this is about going into our emotions, and not going into our emotions in a way where we get stuck in them. Because I know sometimes when people are feeling their emotions too much, or they've had a history of depression, they don't want to go into them, they don't want to get lost in them and stuck in them. But this is more about going over the surface of them and looking down and just noticing kind of what your triggers are to your behavior. Maybe there's certain patterns in your life, and when you look at it from above, you can see that that pattern of emotion is something that can easily be shifted or altered. We are creatures of habit. When we are triggered in certain ways, it creates this sort of emotional cascade, which affects our behavior. And sometimes it's people outside of us that we can blame for the situation, but this koi fish is asking us to look at our part in it. So if you do find you're reacting or really emotional lately or really on edge with stuff, try to pull yourself back. Imagine that you're on the surface of the water and the water represents your emotions and you're looking down as the observer, as the detached observer, so that you're able to just sort of look at things without judgment, without too much analysis, and be like, you know what, maybe I overreacted there, or maybe I made assumptions there, or maybe that person was trying to be helpful and not mean, and whatever it is. But it's asking us to look at our reaction to our own emotions and find some detachment there. So it is a good card. So for some of you, if you have felt like you've been on this roller coaster of emotion, this is especially important message for you, okay? And if you're having trouble, if you really get stuck in it, if you're having a really hard day, meditation, you'll hear me say this over and over again. No one ever wants to hear about meditation, but honestly, meditation is the key to peace. So if you have trouble with meditating, find a guided meditation. There's lots of wonderful free ones online right now, and anything to kind of get you out of that emotional state, because you can't solve problems when you're in it. You have to pull yourself out of it to get that perspective. All right, so Koi Fish is asking us to do that in a very gentle, loving way. Now I'm being drawn to the Romance Angel card deck, so some of you who are looking for love, or for those of you who are looking to, I guess, strengthen the bonds in your relationship, and these Romance Angel cards aren't all about, soulmate stuff, but we'll see what we have this morning. This is the one. Ooh, okay. So, yeah, I never really liked this one. This card is about deception. And it doesn't mean that the person you're with is the one causing the deception. This could actually be you in the story. But for whatever reason, your partner or the person you're dating or yourself, there's something that's not all out on the table. So there might be something that you're keeping hidden, or that they're keeping hidden from you for whatever reason. Maybe the relationship's new and you're not at that level of trust yet. Maybe your partner's keeping things from you to not hurt your feelings or to not worry you. But there is going to be something that comes to the surface that you will find that has been hidden. So that is coming. It's not always pretty when that happens. It depends on how you roll with it and the level of deception, but there is some energy of not being 100% transparent in a relationship. So this can even sometimes come up in our relationships with our children. Maybe you've got teenagers and you're not 100% sure what they're up to. It will come out. You don't have to dig for it. You don't have to go home and grill everybody and be like, the deception card came up, tell me all your secrets. It will come to the surface, but it's also asking you to look at yourself. Where have you not been 100% transparent or honest in your relationship? Because we do often receive the energy we put out. If we put out a lot of mistrust and fear, we often will get that coming to us in the form of experience. It's not that the universe is mean and it wants to beat us up. It's simply trying to give us the experience so that we can move through it and come out the other side and overcome those fears and challenges. So especially if it's a pattern and it keeps repeating, those are things that you want to look at. So I don't want you to all be paranoid, but just be open and just be maybe a little more discerning and, not spying on people, but just understand that there might be some energy of things that are coming to the surface that you're not aware of at this time in relationships. So if it's a new relationship and you don't know the person well, I would say, just go slowly, just go gently, go cautiously. Don't open right up all the way until you know the person better. All right, so moving on, we're going to go to the Ask Your Guides cards. And this is a new deck to me, although it's a Sonia Choquette. I'll just show you the cover for those who are interested. It's a really great all-around deck. It's funny because I was teaching Oracle card reading course a few weeks ago, and someone in the class was asking me about complicated decks and simple decks. And I really don't think that, I think any deck is a great deck for you to start with as long as you're drawn to it. Some decks have simpler pictures and people might think, oh, that's an easier deck to read. But I think it's as simple or as complicated as you make it. You're better to go with a deck that you feel a connection with in some way, either energetic or from the visuals, because then you'll have a better relationship with it, and then you'll have a better response from the deck. If you're working with a deck and you're just always like, oh, I don't know about that deck, it's not your deck. All right. So, but this is a really beautiful one. It's simple in terms of simple pictures, simple words. And the card that's coming to us this morning is Purpose and also Master Teacher. I'm drawn to the words in this one. Sometimes I ignore the words and I go to the pictures, as you all know. But this one I'm being drawn to the words. So, and I feel like this is coming up because sometimes, and I do this as well, I like to try and figure out everything on my own because I'm curious and I like to learn new things. But there's only so many hours in the day. And sometimes you do need the help of a mentor or a teacher or a course or a book or a friend or some help and support, life coach, all that stuff to help take you to the next level. So this is for those of you who are struggling and hitting a wall. And it doesn't have to be with business. It could be in relationships or anything in your life. If you've tried to do it yourself, you know, up to now, and you're getting limited results or no results at all, it might be time to enlist the help of someone. Okay, it doesn't mean you have to go like pay someone a lot of money for help. You could just ask a friend for some advice or, you know, find a Facebook group or something or take a course, but maybe even have a session with someone. But this is about getting that help because this person, where you're trying to go, sometimes when we're trying to jump frequencies or go from one frequency to another frequency, it's hard if we've never been there before. We need to find somebody who's in that zone and they can pull us energetically to it. Okay, so that's why, like, for those of you who, you know, read a lot of books and there's a lot of big successful people out there, however you measure success, but if you talk to them, whether it's financial success or fame or whatever they have that you think is successful, they often will have a life coach or a counselor or someone in their life that sort of cheerleads them forward and helps them when they need to overcome an obstacle or a hurdle. They don't all do it on their own. In fact, I don't know anyone that's done it on their own. So this card is asking you to recognize where you're stuck and to reach out for help from someone who's an expert in that area where you're stuck. Okay, that'll get you where you want to go further. And it's sort of like just recognizing that you are amazing beings. You can do so many things, but you can't do everything on your own without help. We're in this world with all of these people and resources for a reason. So make the most of it and reach out if you need that help from someone. Okay? All right, so now we're going to go to, oh, I like this deck too. The Starseed Oracle deck is next. All right. This is another beautiful deck by Rebecca Campbell and Danielle Noel, and I just love these cards. Love them. Anyway. Okay. Oh, here we go. It's this one. Empathic Starseed. Oh, this is coming up so much lately. So I'm starting to kind of have the belief that we are all empathic. Like I really do believe we all are on some level. But what's been happening, especially over the last 5 years, I've noticed it over the last 10 years, is a lot of my students and clients have really been becoming super sensitive to everything. But it's because they've been wanting to open up to their intuition. And you can't open up to your intuition and tone down your empathy. It's just, it doesn't happen. And by empathy, I mean feeling everything in the world, not just your stuff, but everybody else's stuff. And they don't even have to be in the room with you. Like you could feel stuff just by being online and reading something, and you start feeling the energy of the group. And this is really hard for people to negotiate because if you're very empathic, you could wake up in the morning and feel a little off and it's not even yours. So learning to manage that energy is probably the biggest part of learning to work with your intuition and just get through life in a balanced way is managing that empathy. For me, the biggest helper to that is free and available to us all, is go get in the woods. Go get in nature. Go be with the trees. That will instantly pull you back into your energy, into yourself, and remove all of that chaos from your energy field. It's a very healing, beautiful thing you can do for yourself. So for the empaths out there that are struggling, I mean, you can have a healing session, like you can contact me, I'm happy to work with you. But honestly, get into the woods. Just put your shoes on, go for a walk. Find a tree. I don't know if you want to lay down on the ground when it's this cold out, but you know, that works too. So it's asking us to recognize that we are all empathic. We're all very sensitive. We're becoming more intuitive. This is a beautiful thing. it doesn't look beautiful right now. It feels really messy. It can feel really chaotic. But imagine, 10, 20 years from now, maybe we're all intuitive, sensitive, empathic, and we are in a world where people can't lie to each other anymore because we feel it. Maybe it's just going to transform things for the better, but before that, there might be some chaos. So absolutely, self-care is key right now. It has been this whole entire year, and you have often heard me refer to this whole world situation as a spiritual retreat that we've been on, forced spiritual retreat. But it's true, we've all had to kind of go inside more than we've ever had before, because we've had more time and we've just been forced to for whatever reason. So it's not a bad thing. Make the most of it, okay? But get outside, seriously. It will save you and your friends and loved ones. Well, thank you. You'll be way less crazy if you get outside. If you can't get outside, if you're feeling absolutely terrible, you're having one of those days where you just want to drive into the river, lay down, put some nice music on, and imagine that you're in the forest. Because all of you have been in the woods before, so you know what that feeling's like, so you can take yourself there energetically in your mind without physically going there, okay? So promise me you'll do that. Okay, so now we're going to another deck called Return of the Spirits, the Fractal Images. I've used this one before. Oh, guys, we had this last week too. It's coming up again. So get writing, get journaling, get doing it. Some of you need to be writing. I don't know. I feel like somebody might be working on a book right now or sharing their writing with others. This is about sharing your story with other people. I feel like that's the message behind this card. So some of you that are on here are writers or haven't been writing or need to be writing or have been getting the message from Spirit to write. I can throw myself in that group. No, who's got time? But seriously, write. And if you can't write, dictate to your phone or something. Find a way to take notes. But the energy is there for us to create. And I feel like Spirit is co-creating with us. So journal. It's really going to help you, especially if you've got a lot of chaos in your life. And for those of you who've been struggling with some big decisions and you've been here and there and here and there, and I don't know what to do, and I'm this way and I'm that way, and you're flip-flopping around and you're in the chaos of indecision, writing is going to help you find clarity. Okay, I promise you that. So get yourself a journal or start taking notes in your phone, but just do it, because the act of writing immediately takes us into that intuitive center. It gives our busy mind something to do, so that information from Spirit can sneak in, and that information from our heart and our soul can come to the surface. It really is like, and again, all of the best things are simple, easy, and free, right? Like get into the woods, start writing. Like it's not like you have to spend hundreds of dollars here. Just go do it. It's just making ourselves do it. That's the hard thing. So if you've got a friend who's like into intuitive spiritual things, get a buddy. Get like an accountability friend where you check in once a week. You're like, have you been writing in your journal? Have you been in the forest? Or go for a walk with someone, like drag them out with you, like do whatever you need to do so that you do these things. Because sometimes when we're not feeling great, we don't want to do the things that help us. Sometimes you have to get help. And, I recently just hired a friend of mine to come over and work me out because I just can't seem to motivate myself to go for a run. So I've hired a personal trainer for the first time ever in my life. And I struggled with it at first. And then I was like, you know what? I don't care. I don't care that I can't motivate myself right now. At least I'm doing it. They're coming over and making me do stuff. And then eventually I'll motivate myself. But sometimes you do need help. So reach out to a friend or a loved one or someone to keep you accountable for that writing. But get on it. Start writing, people. All right. So I went to the fairy cards. And I've got two that, again, like the 2-pack of cards. Cards are coming in twos today. So I got the Moving Forward Fearlessly card. Okay, but right next to it, trust your intuition. It's like they were stuck together. So sometimes when we trust our intuition and we are getting from A to B and we're going into, the unknown, right? That's it. It's the big unknown. When you're trying to make change in your life and you've never been where you want to go, it can be scary because you have no frame of reference for it, right? That's why I was saying earlier that when that card came up, reach out to other people who've been there. If you're trying to work on your business and become successful in your business, talk to people who are successful in their business. If you're trying to get healthy and you've never been healthy before, talk to people who are healthy or who have healed from the thing that you're struggling with. If your relationship is an absolute disaster right now, then get some help with that. Talk to a relationship coach or counselor and try to do everything you can. I mean, relationships are harder. There's more than one person involved, but at least make an attempt. You know, doing nothing is still a choice, but it's not going to get you anywhere else other than where you've been. So sometimes going into that unknown or what we don't know is really difficult, but it's essential for growth. It's essential for change. And so you just have to sometimes jump in. Now, here's the thing people forget about that kind of stuff. You can always change your mind, okay? You know, when you start taking steps in a direction and you've never been in that direction before and you're not sure, you'll know. You'll feel right away if it's right for you or not. And if it's not, then come back and go the other way. You can always go back to your past. That is known. You know your past. You've been there, you've done that, you know how to do those things, okay? So if you start going into the future and it gets to be a bit too much or you don't like it, you can always backtrack. But don't use fear as an excuse to not go forward into that unknown, because you owe it to yourself to try it. Because if you don't, then you'll never know, right? You'll just stay where you've always been. And for some of us, that's okay, but for others, it's not. That might even feel like death to some people. So absolutely, keep moving forward into the unknown. It might be big, it might be scary, but honestly, if you look at the change you've had in your life so far, and even other people, most of the change is for the better. Even if it kind of is messy, when you come out the other side, most people will say, oh, I'm so glad this, that, and that happened in my life because I'm here now and I would have been there and I'd much prefer to be here. So it usually is a positive thing. So just trusting in that. Okay, I've gone to the Universal Love deck, which is another favorite deck. I love this deck. And I'm pulling the relationship card. So this has come up a couple times with relationships. And this one has a lot of emotions attached to it. And relationships they can be so hard. They're so beautiful, but they can be so hard, especially if you're empathic and you feel everything. So this is for the empaths out there. It's important to trust your heart and be in a relationship and be open and loving in the way that you are, but you also have to recognize where your boundary is and where the other, like where you end and where the other person begins. So taking time into your own energy to reset is important, because with all of us right now kind of not spending as much time out in the world, you might find you're spending a lot of time with the people you're in close relationship with, which is good, but it can also be really overwhelming, and you're kind of in that sort of, I guess I like to call it an energetic soup in your household. So it's really important for the empaths especially, because we can feel like sponges, like we have no edges and just feeling everything and doing everything for everyone else. You do have to every once in a while remember to pull yourself back into your bubble and recharge your energy in whatever way works for you. Then you'll be able to give even more in your relationships. But this is a card of like kind of emotional overload and a bit of burnout for the sensitive ones out there in relationships. Self-care is key to showing up for your relationship in a big, good way. Okay, so you have to allow yourself to have that time to recenter, reset, recharge, and then you can be a better partner for your partner. You don't have to do everything together with them as much as you might love them. And it is good to have that really beautiful connection with someone, but you do have to kind of come back into your own space every once in a while as well. Okay, so where are we going to go now? Okay, I feel like I'm drawn to the spellcasting oracle. So for those who don't know me, you probably noticed I'm a fast talker, which is good because I'll go through a lot of cards in our time together. But yeah, I get excited and the energy's up and I'm just like, blah, blah, blah. It's the way it is. I try and slow it down, doesn't happen. Anyway. All right, Spellcasting Oracle deck. It's a new deck to me, but I do really love it. It's grown on me. And I just pulled the card I've never pulled before, and this is about beauty. Okay? Or that's the word. But you know what's coming to me with this card? This, oh, God, I hope it doesn't make me cry. I'm feeling emotional. This is about loving yourself, okay, this card, and recognizing the beauty within yourself, because I know a lot of us, especially women, we look in the mirror, and we judge ourselves. I don't know why we do it or what our template of judgment is even from. But I can honestly say in my life, like from very younger age all the way up to now, like it's been a struggle. I mean, like when I was 16 and 17, everything was where God wanted it to be. There were no issues, but I don't think I was comfortable in my body then. I'm probably more comfortable in it now. And like, it's like been through disaster. Like it's a mess. So this card is about loving yourself. No matter what's happening with the package you're in, you know, the wallpaper might be sliding off the wall, and maybe like me, you put on some weight during this COVID time and you're like, oh, what's happening? But it's about recognizing that you're beautiful no matter what, because this meat suit we're in is a constantly changing container. And it's as we age, it only kind of goes downhill, guys. So it's about finding that love for yourself and knowing that you're beautiful no matter what's going on out here, because the beauty really comes from here. It comes from your heart, okay? And other people will see it, and they'll see it in your smile and in your eyes. I mean, it's just like a smiley person to me is always more beautiful than someone who's scowling. It's like it comes from the inside out. So it is true, like working on your insides does radiate out into your being and makes that beauty shine forward. But this is about, I feel like, self-love. So if some of you have been struggling with that, let's all make that a priority for the next 2 weeks, okay? I'm going to work on it too, because I've said some like unloving things to myself lately, because I'm not happy with, like, you know, the fatness, let's just say, okay? Like, because I have put on a lot of weight in a small amount of time, and so I feel like I'm, you know, like having a baby kind of thing, and I'm not. But I'm sharing too much, I apologize. But seriously, like we all struggle with this. So this is about finding your inner beauty and rocking that out, okay? And let's not beat ourselves up for stupid little things like the vintage parts and how your body might be falling apart. It's just a thought. Oh God. I'm not even caffeinated. I took myself off coffee last month and I deeply regret it, let me tell you. I'm on decaf and mushroom drinks and green tea for me. Okay, I am in the, what's this one? Oh, Light Seers Tarot. I forgot the name of it. It's one of my favorite decks. 5 of Cups. This is the card here. Okay, this card, it's funny because cups represent wishes and dreams, and you can see she's sort of like had this idea that she wanted these things, and they're laid out in front of her, and she's like, oh, it's not what I wanted. It's not what I wanted. So some of you might be feeling like you have everything in your life that you thought you ever wanted, or a lot of those things might have come to you and you're still unsatisfied. You want something else and you're not sure what that thing is yet, and that's okay. And connecting to yourself is really going to help you find that. It really, really will. And I feel like this is coming for some of us. So if you've been dissatisfied or struggling with that, not sure what your life purpose is, and you're just really lost with that, honestly, I'm going to say it again. Go to the woods. Go for a walk in the woods and just ask the trees for help. Just like open yourself up to spirit. Go for a walk in the woods, but not just a mindless walk. Go by yourself. Don't take your radio or podcast or anything. Go in the silence, into the forest. And as soon as you walk in the forest, you're going to ask the spirits of the place to bring you clarity and answers. And even if you don't get them on that forest walk, they will come to you after. Just trust that. But you're going to ask the spirits of the forest to take away any heaviness, any excess emotion, any confusion, and to bring you clarity, to heal your body. And you're going to breathe in that air, and you're going to connect to the plants and the trees and the animals, and just do that. Like, try to do that at least once over the next 2 weeks, and then report back to me how it went. But really beautiful healing experience. The plants and the trees are amazing healers. Like, honestly, like, just go into the woods. You will really feel amazing, and it will help you realign your energy. That clarity will come, because it doesn't come when we're all confused and chaotic and emotional. Okay, that's right, Lori. Into the forest I go to lose my mind and find my soul. There's truth in that, absolutely. All right, so we're gonna go to the actually we're gonna do the angel wing cards next. I'm gonna do one more. I'm feeling drawn to one more deck before this one here with the words. So my cat was eating my cards. I don't know if I told you guys this. My cat's generally good, but sometimes he's a rascal. And last night, he's figured out how to shut doors. Like, because he opened one once. So now he thinks he's just going to shut doors to open them, but he hasn't been able to open one since. So he's been locking himself in rooms, which is fun. But when he does it at 3 a.m. and then whines at me to get out, I had to put towels in front of all my doors last night to prevent him from running around shutting doors. It's a weird little game. I don't know why I thought of that right now. Probably because I'm tired, because my cat kept me up all night with doors. Merlin. Okay, so this is about service. Okay, so, and in a way that, because we often ask the universe for help, that's what this card is about. It's about how we ask the universe for help. And I do really want you all to still do that. But this card is saying, okay, we do that all the time. Go out into the world or ask the universe how you can be of service and how you can serve and how you can be there for other people or the world. And that's another beautiful thing you can do if you're doing a forest walk, is just say, you know, how can I be of service? Because often our life purpose is connected to us being of service in whatever way. It's where we show up in the world using our gifts and sharing them with other people. And a lot of the time, here's a great tip for all of you who are struggling with, you know, what to do with your life. A lot of the time, our gifts of service are connected to our greatest pain of what we've overcome. So your hardest thing you've been through, that you've come out the other side of, is often the gift that you can share with others. That's why a lot of healers have healed from really horrible things or almost died a few times, myself included. It's why, you know, a lot of intuitives have struggled with their intuition, you know. It's why some of the best counselors have had the worst things happen to them. Some of the best addiction counselors have been addicts, you know. So often our pain or our suffering in our life that we overcome teaches us things, we learn things, we get the wisdom from those experiences, and we can pass that on to other people. So finding the beauty in what you've experienced, literally taking the lemons in your life and turning them into lemonade, that's where the magic is. You will find where you're best of service by looking at, you know, the pain you've overcome. I'm not talking about the pain you're still in. You know, you might still be in stuff that you're working on, and that's okay. You're in process with that. I'm talking about the stuff that you've already survived and been through. Because all of us on the planet, we've been through some big stuff. You know, life's not always easy, but that's how we learn, that's how we grow, and there's magic in that, and that's how we learn, and that's where we get our wisdom from those experiences. Sometimes even more with the bad ones than the good ones for some reason. You might have learned more through the challenges in your life and the adversity than when life was, you know, simple poolside with the lemonade. But so look at that. Look at the ways, look at maybe, you know, journal, okay? Because we got the writing card. So everyone journal this week. Some of the things that you've overcome in your life and what you learned from those experiences without taking all the crap forward, okay? So if you think of the experience was like this big pile of elephant poop, you want to just take the diamond from it or the jewel from it of what you learned and leave the rest of it behind. You don't have to drag that forward into the future, but just take that nugget of wisdom or that jewel forward with you. Sound good? All right, so we're going to go to the last deck that I go to, which is the Angel Wing cards. And I'll pick a silver wing and a gold wing and a 2-circle one. Okay, so I've got Rick Biel, Love Will Find a Way to Solve All, which I believe is true. I really think love as an energy, as a force in the universe, is the thing that can heal everything and anything. Like, there's nothing stronger than that. Okay, so this is about finding your key to peace. So whatever that is, because we all have different ways to connect to our inner peace. So this is about you learning what works for you and to cultivate that. And the key is to focus firmly on the present. And I know we all hear about the present moment and la, 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 just be present. Well, it's so hard when you have a busy, active brain to be present. I mean, my God, but it's true. And that present moment, what gets you there? Meditation. And if you struggle with meditation, then do a really hard workout, because then you'll be out of your head and it will be easy for you to meditate. But that's why some of us like exercise, because it puts you in that zone. Meditation, yoga, exercise, martial arts, dance, music, art, all of those things, being in nature will take you into that zone. Yeah, it's important, guys. So thank you. It was great to see all of you, and I'll see you again in another 2 weeks. I've got lots going on, so you can check out my website, circleoflightwellness.com. I've got lots of classes happening. Shamanic Journeying starts tonight. It's a 4-week program. I have room if there's any last minute takers, and then yoga starts Wednesday nights, and then lots of other things in the pipe. But I hope you're well. And also keep checking out Instagram. I'm going to do another like free reading I'm going to throw out there where I just like pull a name out of a hat. But yeah, I love that we do this every 2 weeks. It's been really great, guys, and thanks for coming. I really appreciate it. If you jumped on later, you can hop on the replay. It will replay on Instagram, and I also post all the old ones on my website under Tea and Tarot. So even if it's from 2 months ago, there's a lot of messages there that might still be relevant for you. Okay, so enjoy this beautiful day. It's sunny where I am. I hope it is where you are. Get out in the woods, connect with the tree, get writing. Some of you are writing books. I can't wait to see what happens. All right, everybody, I love you. Thank you. Have a great day.